Avengers, everyone. You know what that means. It is time for my top 10 movies of 2018. This is a list of my 10 favorite films from the year, and it's my opinion too at the end of the day. I know some of you guys on the internet have your own opinions. Everyone has their own opinion. You're entitled to that, but this is my top 10, which then makes it my own opinion. But if you guys have your top 10 movies of 2018, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what that list might be. Before I reveal my top 10 movies of the year, I want to thank all of you for those who followed me all throughout 2018. This has been a pretty big year for me. Did a lot of interesting things, and I'm very thankful for those who actually took the time out of their day to watch my videos consistently. So I just want to say thank you for those who followed me all this year and will continue following me in 2019. Also, as always, I do have some honorable mentions for this list. These are 5 movies that I feel were very good, movies that I would purchase on Blu-ray, but just not better than the top 10 movies on my actual list. Nonetheless, here are some of my honorable mentions of movies in 2018. Bumblebee, Overlord, Aquaman, Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Tomb Raider. Those 5 movies were all pretty darn good and movies that I enjoyed, but just not good enough to be better than these 10 movies that I liked a little bit more, and they are my favorite of the year. So without further ado, let's get started with number 10. Deadpool 2 is here at number 10. Yes, I am as shocked as you are right now, but this movie was so exhilarating. I enjoyed the absolute heck out of it, and I think it's a much better made movie than Deadpool from 2016. It's funny, action-packed, and includes some of the best characters this year, like Domino, Russell, Cable, the X-Force was hilarious, and Deadpool himself, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, was great, so I had a really good time watching Deadpool 2 back in May. Number 9. I feel like this movie was divided among audiences, but critics really enjoyed it, and that's Ant-Man and the Wasp, a movie that I thought was super fun from beginning to end. This is one of the funniest movies of the year. The dialogue is just hilarious. I laughed so many times. This might have been the fastest paced movie of 2018 because this movie is non-stop, action-packed, and it doesn't get boring. The movie is so much fun. I enjoyed every single bit and piece. Plus, this movie includes one of the best casts in all the MCU, led by the one and only Paul Rudd. Number 8. Widows is a film that I feel like, while it was not underrated in 2018, it was certainly overlooked because I barely heard anyone, not only just critics, but audiences talking about this film. There was not a lot of buzz surrounding Widows, but this was one of my favorite movies of the year. This is one of those films that constantly builds, the intensity continues to grow. I think the third act in Widows is one of this year's best. I love the heist scene, and the cast is tremendous. Number 7. A film I was worried about, wasn't sure if they'd be able to differentiate this from the other previous films in the Rocky franchise, and you already know what it's going to be. Creed 2. This was one of the best boxing movies I've ever watched on screen, and one of the things it does better than the first Creed from 2015 was make it more of a personal story. The antagonists in this film are Ivan and Victor Drago. There's plenty of tension in this film between Ivan and Rocky, and when Adonis is going face to face with the huge monster of Victor Drago in the ring, these turn out to be some of the best boxing matches I've ever watched on the screen. Number 6. Another film I was a little worried about, but ended up being pretty good, just a bit worse than its predecessor. That movie would be Ralph Breaks the Internet, one of the most creative movies of the year. What they did with this film was mind-blowing. I have no idea how they came up with the ideas for Ralph Breaks the Internet, but it all panned out and worked really well for me. Like the first film, the adventure factor is very high here. I felt they did a great job in exploring the internet and the dimensions that are included within the internet. The cast is great. John C. Reilly as Ralph was phenomenal, again, playing that voice. And the messages really do convey not only to adults watching this film, but children. Number 5. Not once did I ever think the entire year that this movie would end up being one of 2018's best, but surprisingly enough, it was. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one of the greatest action movies / animated movies ever put on the big screen. There's so much to talk about. If you saw my review, you know I have a plethora of positives. The animation is beautiful. The characters are very memorable. Miles Morales, I thought, was great as Spider-Man in this movie. This film has a lot of heart. The action is terrific. And I can't forget to mention the references in this film that relate to a lot of the comics as well as past Spider-Man movies, such as the Tobey Maguire films and Andrew Garfield films. There is so much to love about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it falls here at number 5. Number 4. This movie got absolutely no hype, but at number 4, it's Annihilation, a movie that made me think for days on end. Currently, I still think about Annihilation. I do own it on 4K, very proud of that, but this is just a phenomenal movie and one that I feel like all of you guys should watch if you have not done so already. It's one of those movies that grows on you. The more you think about it, the more you like it. There's so many questions and theories within this movie that it's just crazy. Beyond all that, this movie is chilling, suspenseful. I think it's this year's best thriller. The first 2/3 are incredible. The movie totally hit me hard, and when movies can hit me that hard, it's unbelievable. Number 3. We're back to that old Steven Spielberg formula. Ready Player One was a complete blast. Talk about references. This movie has so many video game / movie references that it's impossible to talk about every single one, even on 100 rewatches. The movie is an epic adventure, which I love. The virtual reality world is mesmerizing, and just like I said, we are back to that old Steven Spielberg formula that feels like pure fun. Number 2. If you leave this movie off your list, I have no idea what kind of person you are who watches movies, but Avengers Infinity War was my second favorite movie from 2018. Holy crap, was this film good. It's about as good as a culmination to 18 previous films in a universe gets. Having the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers was just awesome to see on the big screen, provided several hilarious moments in this film. The connection of characters in Avengers Infinity War was unlike anything we've ever seen before on the big screen. So yeah, this was a very funny / action-packed movie that never lets up. The pacing is at an all-time high here, and Thanos is probably the greatest villain to ever come from the MCU. Number 1. My oh my though, what just might be my favorite movie from 2018? Well, it is Mission Impossible Fallout, which was a movie that was not on my radar at the start of 2018, but for the second straight year, a movie that was not on my radar ended up being my favorite movie at the end of the year. This is easily one of my top 5 favorite action movies of all time, right up there with Skyfall, which is impressive. The movie has so much action, and the action pays off. It is great. I mean, I cannot praise the action in this movie enough. There are motorcycle chase scenes, car chase scenes, Tom Cruise jumps out of a freaking plane in this movie, there's a helicopter fight. The action never lets up. It's always thrilling, and it's some of the best action I've ever seen on the screen, as well as set pieces for an action film ever put on the screen. Plus, unlike the other Mission Impossible movies, for me personally, this one feels like a theatrical film on a very large scale, and those other movies always felt like TV episodes to me. But this one does feel like an actual theatrical film, and I really like the plot for this movie. I think it had a good plot, a lot of good twists, but the action is the true takeaway from Mission Impossible Fallout, and that's why it is my favorite movie from 2018. And there you have it, guys. Those are the top 10 best movies in 2018 for myself. Like I said at the beginning of this video, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your top 10 movies of the year are. I cannot believe we're already here at the end of 2018, but that means I still have to do one other video. It'll come out tomorrow. It's my top 10 worst movies of 2018, so get ready for that video. It's going to be a lot of fun. As always, if you're new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.